Hey everybody, welcome to the Happy Harvest Homestead. Today was a very busy day and I was rushing to get things done before it started raining, so I didn't get a chance to film a whole bunch during my projects, but I wanted to document what I did to fill you guys in. So I took some pictures and I'm going to narrate over them, so you all can be updated on what's going on. So before I started any projects, let me remind you how our current setup is. We had 2 tractors that were raised up off the ground on cinder blocks, basically making them giant cages. One tractor housed a doe and a buck, Cattail and Sterling. The second tractor housed another doe and another buck, Onyx and Constance. Then on the other side of the barnyard, we had a winterized hutch housing 2 does, Acrobat and Zuzu. Then we had one huge winterized cage that I split in half. One side housing our Angora breeding pair, Sylvan and Jolty, and the other side had the spotted twins, Izzy and Leah. Before I did any breeding, I needed to rearrange some rabbits so the winterized hutch could be empty because we're going to be getting some more rabbits and they need a quarantine place. So I've been meaning to do this for a while, and I finally got around to fixing up another one of our tractors, so now it's rabbit proof, and I set it up next to the other 2. And I put Onyx and Cattail in that tractor. I was very deliberate in my placement of all these rabbits. Onyx is a buck who has been with a whole bunch of does for a long time, but he hasn't bred them at all. He did have one litter last, I believe it was like spring or maybe like early summer, so we know he is proven, but as far as I can tell, he only has 1 testicle. So it's possible that he got wounded somehow since fathering his first litter and is now sterile. But while that is a theory, I'm not entirely sure if that's the case or not. I still want to do some experiments with him and see if in fact he is fertile or not, because his coloring is gorgeous and he's really hardy, so I want to keep him as one of our breeding bucks if that's possible. But for right now, we're super behind on having like meat rabbit kits to butcher, so while I do want to keep him and try him eventually, I'm going to try focusing on other bucks at the moment. So he's in with Cattail, who's his sister. Out of all the does, I chose her because she's super small. She was very low on the pecking order when she was in the colony, so I didn't really want to pair her with another doe because she might get picked on a whole bunch, and I didn't want to waste an opportunity to house a doe with a buck by putting her with a really good buck. So basically I decided to put the 2 rejects in this new tractor. So then the housing part of my project was done, and we get to move on to the breeding. Before I bred anybody, I did health checks on all of them. As you can see, Sterling is for sure a buck, and he has all of his equipment. It looks perfectly normal. I also clipped everyone's nails. In the colony, they would wear their own nails down, so I didn't need to clip their nails, and as you can see, even now, the nail I haven't clipped yet is all blunt and rounded, but now that they're up off the ground, I have to start clipping nails again, so that's a huge hassle I don't really enjoy. As I mentioned in my last video, I'm trying to be really good about checking all the does' vents to see if they're ready to breed. And while I technically know what I'm looking for, I haven't experienced this a whole bunch to like get all the nuances of the color. While last time, a few days ago, I was checking all the does, Acrobat was the only one who I could really tell was ready to be bred. But this time, some of them looked a little good, some of them looked a little bit bad, so I just decided to try and breed all of them and see what happened. This is Zuzu's vent, and as you can tell, it's not like super red and really apparent that she's ready to breed, but she's not like super shrivelly and white either, so she's kind of like in the middle. So I set up our breeding pen in the garage and started our big breeding session with Zuzu and Sterling. He tried mounting her a whole bunch, but she wasn't really lifting for him, and we only got 1 fall off, and that was even a little bit iffy. Then we put them back in Sterling's cage, which used to have Sterling and Cattail, but now Cattail's in with Onyx. There was room for Zuzu to move in with Sterling. Right now my 2 breeding bucks I have available are Sterling and Sylvan. Even though Sylvan's an Angora, I'm still going to use him because he has all of his equipment for sure, and we know he can father kits. But because we have so many spotted does and a spotted buck, I have to breed all the spotted does to Sylvan, because I don't want to risk getting any Charlie kits by breeding 2 spotted rabbits together and risk them being weak or dying, which, though I haven't experienced it personally, I have heard can happen. So Acrobat, Zuzu, and Cattail are the only rabbits who I can breed with Sterling. Acrobat was already bred, Zuzu was bred today, and Cattail is in with Onyx to see if we can possibly get a breeding from them. So I switched out Bucks, replacing Sterling with Sylvan in the breeding pen after doing a health check on him and getting him ready for his many playdates. I went ahead and did a health check on Constance before breeding her. With all of this shuffling, I need to put all of my rabbits in new housing so that territory wasn't an issue. So Constance just sat in a carrier for a little bit till I could shuffle some more rabbits around. The next rabbit I actually bred was Izzy, and similar to Zuzu, her vent didn't look super ready, but I went ahead and tried her anyways. Oh, by the way, Sylvan is in the middle of being plucked. He won't sit still for a full session, so I'm in stages plucking him, so that's why he looks all wonky right now. But I stuck Izzy in with him, and oh my goodness, she was so ready to breed. She laid down in like the breeding position and didn't ever get up. She just stayed there. And he was actually kind of a bit reluctant at first. I'm not sure he knew what to do with a doe who's that willing. Usually the bucks have to chase the does around and around to finally get them to breed. Sylvan didn't seem to know what to do with a doe who actually wanted to breed with him. But he definitely did his job, a whole bunch, and we got 4 fall-offs in total, so I'm for sure marking Izzy as pregnant, and we will expect kits from her in about a month. Then next up was her sister Leah. As you can see, her vent also doesn't look super ready, but I tried her anyways, and we got, I think, 1 fall-off from her, but even that was a little bit iffy. Then finally it was time for Constance. The more and more I was breeding the rabbits, the smaller and smaller I made the pen so the does couldn't run away as much. But Constance did not want to be bred. Sylvan got 1 maybe fall off, but that was it. And then I was curious about Acrobat, since she was bred for a few days, if her vent would change at all. And as you can see, it's bright pink and it's still really swollen, so I thought that was interesting, just something to note. So the final housing placement, after breeding and re-situating all of the rabbits, is we put Zuzu and Acrobat where the twins used to be, next to the Angoras. Onyx and Cattail are in the new tractor. Zuzu and Sterling are together in one tractor. And the sisters, Izzy and Leah, are in another tractor. The timing of all this breeding actually worked out pretty well. It's the beginning of the month. I'm hoping that monthly we'll be able to have, the beginning of the month we'll have all of our litters, just to keep things easy and streamlined. All the does who didn't get many good fall-offs, I'm going to try rebreeding in a couple days, and, just see what happens. But we for sure have 2 does pregnant now, Acrobat and Izzy. I'm going to try my best to feed them extra food scraps, give them a whole bunch of nutrition, and hopefully break this drought of babies with a shower of many healthy little baby kits. Thanks for watching!